Shooters Connection offers products for competition shooters by competition shooters. With over 80 years of combined competition shooting experience, Shooters Connection is staffed by master and grandmaster shooters who live the shooting sports every day. We offer same-day shipping. Shooters Connection also sponsors over 100 of your matches every single year. So when it comes to finding everything you need to compete as a beginner or a seasoned grandmaster, Shooters Connection is the only name you need to know. Online at shootersconnectionstore.com.
Good evening and welcome back to this month's episode of the Hit Factor podcast, not brought to you by anybody that you recognize or know. I am John Hedlund, aka J Hedlund Shooting on the Discord.
I'm Katon, or Expensive Noise on Instagram, and Katon everyone else.
I believe you're Katon.
Yeah, Katon.
But I'm Fitz.
Katon!
That French name.
Yeah, that's how they pronounce it where I'm really from.
So we decided to do a little Hit Factor takeover this week since there wasn't going to be any scheduled episodes. So a bunch of shit talkers, amateur gunsmiths, and mediocre shooters decided to get together from the Discord, kind of bullshit and have a little lighthearted conversation about training, gun building, 2011 world, kind of where we came from, and what our futures look like in this sport, maybe.
Well, I'm a Carry Optics Grandmaster now, so I'm a little less mediocre than you guys.
Yeah, I know.
Let's be real.
No kidding there.
I've got my little argument winner badge now. I can do what I want.
Just wait. This is the year of the Revo GM.
Yeah, if you can fucking get that in the year, I'm just going to be so stoked for you. That looks so fun.
Dude, it has been such a blast. I mean, just the change from, going from open or even limited optics to Revo is just, I mean, I will say that, winning something in open by like 20%, 25% pales in comparison to beating just 50% of the field with a revolver. Like, it adds so much more insult to injury. But no.
Yeah, for sure.
If you want to kind of go through, we can talk maybe a little bit how we got into shooting, when that happened, and kind of how you got to where you're at.
Yeah, sure. I'll jump into it first if you don't mind. Let's see. So I got into USPSA at a month before COVID started. I shot my first match in like April or whatever. And I immediately knew that it was over for me. Like this is like the one thing that I want to do. I've like grown up with guns and stuff before that, and I was looking at like doing 3-gun because it seemed like a practical way to like shoot rifles and pistols, and I realized very quickly that USPSA is a lot better.
Way cheaper too.
Shit. What's up?
Way cheaper too.
Oh my god. Yeah. No kidding. Fuck, I forgot the other half of the prompt. That's what I did. What else did you want to hear about?
Maybe just how you got to where you're at. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I fucked around a lot. And then the key there is that you take the thing that you learn when you fuck around and then find out. you learn your lesson, and hopefully you don't do it a whole bunch anymore. Still working on some of those things, but eventually lessons learned start to sink in.
What division did you start in?
I have only shot Carry Optics as my primary division, so I've shot like a match here and there in single stack with my dad's 45, and that's a blast. I did like a PCC here and there, and I was like, oh yeah, I get why that's fun. It's not for me, but like I totally get why it's interesting for some people. And I picked up an open gun off of C-Class Legend earlier this summer, and that thing fucking rules. I will absolutely be shooting open more seriously in 2024. Watch out.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that shit. That division like really plays to what I think my strengths are in shooting, and I think it's going to be like really interesting to take the kind of like shooting that you can get away with when recoil isn't really like a factor in how you engage targets. So I'm interested to see like what kind of cross training lessons learned I can find there.
Do you think you have a significant benefit coming from carry optics with kind of the acceptable level of accuracy there versus really letting you open up into open?
Yeah, I think so. We'll see if it ends up being the case. It's like I think that some of the stuff that I've done with carry optics, and then like I shot one match with the open gun. I found that I was like waiting on my sights were waiting on me a lot more than I expected it to, and I could just like get away with a lot of stuff that I wasn't previously able to do with like even with the Shadow 2 that I've like shot for 2 or 3 years straight. So in a lot of ways very similar, and in a lot of other ways like totally different game. Like you really have to just execute perfectly and really aggressively. And if you're not already an aggressive style shooter, I think that's really hard to pick up on.
You definitely see the slow open guys, or that. But the whole recoil and just the thing of shooting open. I did pick up on like swapping over and shooting a lot of limited optics this fall. That like really trying to push the speed with the limited optics gun made me a lot more conscious on shooting alphas. So I think as far as cross training wise, it's going to pay dividends going back to open, because you can get away with being a little bit more sloppy, a little bit more aggressive. But I think that cross training of like searching for the alpha as far as visual patience is something that's really big as far as like limited optics and carry optics go, rather than just seeing brown and being like, oh fuck, I just had
Yeah.
I just had 7
Yeah.
deltas,
Yeah, I just like painted this like red smear all over the targets. Like, who fucking cares? What are my hits? I don't know. It was fast though.
Yeah, well, I always tell people, it's like, you got to Bob Ross that bitch, Little happy accidents. All right, Fitz, you want to talk a bit about yours?
Yeah, so I didn't grow up with guns. Like 9 years ago, my friend from the Army took me to the range with a 1911, and I got hooked. So I guess this will be 9 years in USPSA soon. Started in production because I live in New York. Quickly learned that shooting alphas sucked, so moved over to limited 10 because it's tough to get mags. Ended up using one of these once in a match.
What the fuck?
Yes.
It just holds up a high point.
Yep.
Did you find it on a street corner?
It's $150, man. So dabbled in limited once I was able to find some mags. Got a free P320 Max a couple years ago. Shot carry optics for a while. But I've been building these 2011s for like 4 years. So I finally got them finished over the summer. Ended up shooting a couple matches, going to nationals with Jeremy and Jeff. So I think I'm going to probably switch back and forth this next year, mainly because I don't have any 40 bullets. It'll be interesting to see how, like Katon said, right? You have that dot, you can go a little faster, but then, kind of the open the carry optics, but carry optics to limited is going to be different. I can shoot more Charlies, but still got to go fast.
When that dot makes a difference.
Yeah.
Phil said comically close
It's
is where
really
you need your
easy to
mic.
like.
Ah, Christ. All right.
Yeah, it's really easy to fall into like getting way too precise with the dot, though. I don't know. I haven't shot any irons divisions with any level of like seriousness in USPSA. And as soon as I bought a red dot, I like took the irons off all my guns anyways. So I got that Holosun and I was like, no, fuck these things. So like I haven't put in enough time to really say how much the levels of confirmation and like the perceived slowness of like aiming with irons versus aiming with a dot is in like practical shooting. But like from everything that I played with, man, it is so easy to just like over aim and just take that over aiming into whatever gun you shoot. And like shooting the open gun just just made it like, yo, fuck you, what are you doing? Like, what are you waiting on? Let's go.
Yeah, grip it and rip it.
Absolutely.
I think that's the biggest point for, the irons versus dots. If your eyes can do it, like my biggest issue with iron sights, kind of as I continued shooting them was just, dominance issues and cross focus and, not being able to pick things up quickly. But even target focus for iron sights, which is pretty well how I shoot it now. It's just a sloppier picture in my opinion for what I can see versus when I'm shooting the dot. I've been fighting that a little bit with the Revo, but that's been fun too. I'll get a little bit on myself. So I started shooting pretty young, but I wish I would have started USPSA about 30 years ago. But no, I started shooting in the 90s trap. Kind of grew up with guns in the house, and did that about 3 or 4 times a week for going on, for about 20 years. And then shot a lot of skeet, did some of that with the Army. And then 2019, I went and shot my first kind of steel challenge match, which was interesting because I bought like a M&P Smith & Wesson M&P Pro, like 40 cal, that was kind of tricked out for limited a little bit, but I bought it back in like 2012, and it had been sitting for like 7 years in my gun safe. I'd take it out and shoot it every once in a while, but it always seemed like that barrier to entry at that point, for like, are they going to be an asshole? Am I good enough to go do this? So I finally kind of pulled the trigger, went and shot my first Steel Challenge match late 2019, then shot my first USPSA match in December, and I was absolutely fucking hooked. So I shot that gun for like 3 months, and then my buddy let me shoot his Atlas, his Nemesis, and I was like, oh, okay. So I immediately accidentally won an old STI Edge on Gunbroker, and
Oops.
yeah, oops. So and then stayed pretty heavy on limited for about 2 years, just because that was like the big thing at our club. Everybody shot limited. It was the popular division at that point. But ended up making master in limited, and then decided I wanted to dip my feet. That was kind of my my bar I set for myself before I moved to a dot gun. So decided to dip my feet in open, and kind of started building stuff from there. But swapped over to open. I made master in that in about 3 months. And then, then kind of stagnate because I don't put any effort into it anymore, but let myself get beaten by the likes of Katon. But no, and so moved to open, been shooting that for the last 2 years or so. And then this winter swapped over to play around with some wheel gun action because it's just fun, kind of something to break up the monotony and kind of the training and do something a little bit different, get a little refresh before the next season. But it's kind of how I got, doing this stuff and kind of working with the Discord and stuff. So.
Yeah, those Revo skills are just like, so specific, and like the dudes who can run those revolvers well are like hats off. Like you're clearly like incredibly autistic about this. It's like not useful anywhere else, not applicable to any other guns. But like, goddamn, you're so good at that. I gotta respect.
I mean, if I have to do anything, So I did notice I've talked to a few guys on Instagram and stuff that were kind of big on the Revo. And there was always like the different transit thoughts because I got my gun and immediately had it apart and was polishing parts and, figuring out reloads.
Yeah.
I spent 14 hours doing reloads in my fucking room and kind of figuring out what I like. But, the things between like doing the strong hand reload, and I found that I kept flashing myself with the fucking muzzle because my hands would like over rotate. So I was like, that seems like a great way to go home. But then I kind of figured out. And
you're just like taking a selfie every time you reload.
Exactly. So I
call you Bud Dwyer.
I went away from that because I think that happens more than people like to admit, especially when they're trying to do it on the clock.
Yeah.
But, one of the advantages of having larger than most hands is I could just stick my finger all the way through the cylinder and just hold the cylinder open and never have to move my grip. So I was like, well, I can just do that and, throw it on in. But so that's been a learning point. I kind of want to just throw a comp on there and a red dot and just keep shooting open for the next month or two. Because fuck irons, man.
Why do they say not to like flick the cylinder closed with your wrist? I've never understood. No one told me why. It's just that it's very bad and they hate you.
So I actually, I'm going to quit building 2011s and I'm going to move strictly to 929 revolvers now. But working on stuff. So your locking blocks and stuff for your cylinder stop. You can get a lot of battering in there, or if you're flicking the other way, you can bend your crane and mess with your alignment and stuff. So as far as keeping a slick action and stuff, it's really not good for the gun, but Hollywood, man.
Yeah, I mean, it looks badass, so like, what could he do?
I found out that, revolvers do indeed have malfunctions in matches. As I had my first high primer that literally locked the cylinder, I had to beat it open with my other hand. It's about as finicky as open, but I sure as shit wouldn't carry a revolver now. After having them apart and like doing light strikes and everything else, I was like, fuck that, dude. I would rather carry a high point. Speaking of that,
yeah.
We actually, me and my buddy were talking to do a yeet cannon match. And we're literally just going to go buy high points just to run matches. Maybe put it in a shoe holster.
What I've learned is that the mags are what make or break that gun. And apparently they're 1911 sized. I don't have any 41s, but I think the dimensions are the same. So if you got any of those around that feed well, you might be in luck.
The High Point 2011's coming next, right?
Yeah, the wider body High Point.
I mean, shit, everyone else in the world has gotten into that market lately, so...
Yeah, we need lock grips to make High Point grip panels.
Oh, hell yeah. Just some, or, you could do your own, redneck version. Just take some, really short nails and epoxy them into the side.
Yeah, Fitz, if you want to silicone carbide those fucking things, we could use them as the thumbnail picture. Oh, hell yeah.
If they did that from the factory, you'd have less people using them in killing drop weapons because they'd be leaving skin particles and everything else.
You just wouldn't be able to drop them anymore. It's too grippy. So
what platforms have you guys kind of used over the years? And kind of what did you settle on?
I started shooting so I had an M&P 2.0. No, I had an M&P 1.0 with Apex trigger parts and a fuck, who the hell are they? The EGW dovetail optics plate.
Yes.
I had pounded into the dovetail, and I had the OG Holosun 507 on it, and that was a riot.
So
Gun sucked less than a lot of people talked about. It was like the late gen 1.0s that didn't unlock as soon as you fired the round, and so it generally shot where you wanted it to instead of fucking wherever.
So that was actually my first carry optics gun. With
hell yeah,
with a Stormlight conversion barrel and a fucking EGW dovetail.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean it ran fine. The MP 2.0 fucking ruled. Like I got that one shortly after it released, and then got like a 5-inch slide for it like a year after that. And those guns just work. I think they're like super underrated as far as like polymer striker pistols. Like they're just good. They just go bang. I thought mine didn't go bang because I was very bad at reloading at the time, and my primer depth was just a coin flip. I blamed my gun. It can't be me.
Oh yeah, no.
I bought a Shadow 2 off of Buddy, and been running that for like 2 years. And you know, it just works. I haven't had the common Shadow 2 malfunctions that everyone else seems to have. My what's it fucking called? The slide stop pin or whatever hasn't shattered on me yet.
Holy shit.
Probably will very soon now that I said that. But you know.
That and what is that, extractor springs?
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, the extractor springs, I haven't really had an issue with those. I've still replaced them, once a season just because it's not expensive to do. I used to run like the Cage Gunworks reduced power trigger reset spring, and after like 13,000 rounds, my gun was so dirty it wouldn't like reset the trigger. Like the gunk had overpowered the spring, and so I was like, yeah, that's not really important to me. I'll take like an extra like half pound on my trigger press for it resets. that's a good trade, I think.
Well, 90% of that's just running the ragged edge of function anyways. Yeah. So it's like, okay, do I want my trigger to be dead, or is a half a pound worth it?
I mean, I can still ND it, no problem, so it's light enough.
It happened to me today.
Hell yeah.
I was shooting my buddy's limited optics gun I built him, and jumping from my 2-pound trigger to his like a pound and an eighth. When I did it, and I was like getting on the target, yeah. I was like, oh shit, yeah, I forgot about that. The wall is not there.
Yeah. I was playing with those Extreme Engineering ignition kits that you had mentioned, and I got like the Lightspeed 2 package or whatever, I don't know off the top of my head, but like it's one of their nicer ones, and I bent the Colt sear spring all fun, and I ended up getting a 1 pound and 4 ounce trigger out of it while still having like pre-travel and the other safety things still there.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's pretty cool, but I'm like definitely not going to put this in the gun that I'm like giving my mom. I'm not going to do that to her. So hers is like 3 pounds or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more reasonable.
Well, and I found kind of like that, for me, like that 1 3/4 to 2 pounds where I still have a nice feel on the trigger as far as, some pop back for reset is about where I like it. I mean, you can get down lower. I never feel anything at speed anyways, and I suck at shooting slow fire, so it's a moot point for me.
If I'm
I've always
pound, I'm pretty good because at speed, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
If you're slapping it right, it's like, whatever, doesn't matter.
Well, and that's the that misconception between
I found that having a stronger reset. I found that having a stronger reset was always more important than a super light trigger for me.
Well, and especially on the 2011s, not having a ton of slop in the actual trigger itself, with the trigger bow and the channel and stuff. Steel grips are hugely better for that than a fucking polymer, because you could have the same ignition kit in a polymer grip and drop it in an actual steel grip, and it'll probably lose half a pound at least, just from not having the friction surfaces. So fuck polymer grips. As Danny said. So we do have a live chat going on.
Have you seen those other 2011 grips that are 3D printed? What's this one? 1911 Builders makes one. It's injection molded with a metal trigger track.
Oh,
that's actually neat. Oh well, I'll link it in the chat or whatever.
It still sounds gross.
I've seen a couple of. Yeah, I mean, it's not $600, so how much can you complain? But the thing that I still hear reputable builders will offer guns with polymer grips instead of the metal grips that people seem to love, because either it's cheap or it's what do you call them? I've heard some others say that they prefer the polymer grips because it's more gentle on the gun long term.
No.
And I'm maybe I don't think that's quite true if you have a the metal frame of the 2011.
Well, and any of your battering points, so I know people like polymer grips just because of the flex, because it soaks up a bit of the recoil. Granted, but one, they look like doo-doo, and two, you got guys tearing shit, still using polymer grips on the Pit Vipers and the Sand Vipers and stuff, and that's an $8,000 gun. It's a fucking $8,000 staccato with one single port comp and some cuts. With a polymer
it costs
grip.
A lot to do a reverse Butler cut.
Yeah,
it's really hard to do a reverse Butler cut. Okay, you cut you flip the thing over and you just so it has teeth or something. It's that ain't cheap, man.
Bro, it was in a movie.
It blows my mind.
It was in a movie.
But I digress. But that shit is just mind-boggling to me. And as you guys know from building your own 2011s. In the parts list and that kind of stuff, and the time it takes. Okay, yeah, you have a margin, but that margin is fucking whack for an $8,000 polymer grip. 2011. So, but it's the best shooting gun I've ever seen. If anyone in the audience has one, I'm sorry. But
I'm not sorry. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. Get a high point. All right.
Don't buy guns you see on TV.
Yeah, no kidding. Unless it's a dirty, hairy gun.
Yeah, that's just cool.
Yeah.
No, actually, fuck you too.
So, Fitz, you want to talk about your path to guns?
Yeah, I started with a Glock 17. The guy at Gander was like, you can use it for carry, you can use it for competition. It's okay. Shot that for 2 years. went to a Glock 35. DK Customs, he doesn't make them anymore, but they made the best Glock triggers I've ever felt. I think they were at like 2 pounds with like positive reset. So I shot those for a while. Shot the high point for a bit out of just pure idiocy.
I love it.
Yeah, I'll post videos in the Discord of just malfunction after malfunction. It was awful. I got the P320 from Area 7 a couple years ago, and then I bought a second one that I ended up not using ever outside of practice. So that was a good $1,600 down the drain. And then, for 3.5 years, I was spent building 2 2011s. So I'm going to shoot those, and then hopefully I really want to make some limited optics guns in the future. Problem is getting frames in my state, but we'll figure out, some way to get them.
Well, it
took you 3 years to build 2 2011s?
Yeah, I get like frustrated, and then I give up, and like 4 months later I'll come back to it and I'll forget what I was doing, and I'll be like, oh, okay. The fuck? Was the barrel fit? I don't know.
It looks fine to me.
Jeff wants us to talk some shit on single stack too, but I'll get to that in my piece.
If you shoot single stack minor, fuck you.
Fuck you.
I will,
coward.
I will say that the gun I shot at Nationals, it was a 425 round match. I probably shot over 500 because I suck. I had one failure a day, and one of those failures was pushing 21 into the mag. So, for an idiot that doesn't know anything mechanical, I think I did a pretty good job over 3 years.
Jeff wants to know how many mics you had at Nationals.
26.
26.
26.
That's impressive. What's the percentage on that? 26 out of 4. What is it? 420.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Hey, it's hard to shoot when you've got no sights on your gun. Like, cut him some slack.
See, I think a local challenge would be like a fun raw time champ with the lowest percent of points.
You can't have FTSAs. Like, you must shoot at every target.
Yeah.
But that would be fun.
Just fucking raw dogging it. Do you not accidentally hit a target? Oh. So, yeah, I guess for me, the gun stuff was and I'll kind of segue maybe a little bit into the gun building stuff. We can kind of talk through that too, and we'll talk some shit while we go. But I started with an M&P 40, shooting limited because that's what everybody fucking did. Now you are hard pressed to find more than a couple in our area that are shooting limited. But shot that for a handful of months. Thought I was fucking hot shit, and I looked at my stuff and I'm like, oh, you fucking suck, man. But then went to a 2011, got a nice used steel grip edge. Like I said, I did the potato special and accidentally won it on Gunbroker. But then shot that for about 6 or 7 months, and I had a slide crack. So obviously that was just, oh fuck, just if you're poor, you can't be dropping, money on a new limited gun. So I decided to learn how to do some stuff. So I ended up fitting a new slide and a new barrel. And that was kind of my foray into doing my own stuff. And I don't know how many parts I have in boxes from the last 4 years going on 4 years that are just fucking ruined. Like, to say that I got into building guns to save money is
It's like reloading.
Yeah, I could have bought a couple of Atlases and just been like, sweet, I'm gonna send it off to them. But I think the experience of just knowing intimately how your gun works and why issues are happening and that kind of stuff is another one of those products of doing that stuff. So anyways, I changed the slide and the barrel on that gun, and then decided to build another limited gun for myself for kind of the ground up, and did that and ran that gun for a while until I got tired of iron sights. Shot a little bit of single stack.
I'm actually A-class in single stack, not just by virtue of
being a master in the other two. But although carry optics, I'm like a solid 60%. I shot my 4 classifiers, so it's like, fuck it. But then decided I wanted to jump into open. So I just had my buddy drill out my frame so I could mount a red dot on there and put a little dovetail racker in there. And I was gonna fuck everybody over and just shoot 40 cal, 40 cal open without a comp. And I did that for about a month. It was fun, but then I was like, okay, yeah, no. And ended up buying a new slide and new barrels and binary comps and spent a bunch of money I didn't have on stuff I didn't need, and kind of figured through that, fucked up a couple barrels along the way, and kind of finally learned how to do things without fucking them up and get good results out of it. So then I bought some more, built some more open guns and sold some open guns, and now it's been kind of a 2.5, 3 year project of building guns for some other local people and people I know, and kind of started my own little shooting team. But that was like my version of the Talladega Nights, like ME car. Because I have absolutely no sponsors, so sponsored by me. But so if anybody wants to join the Bath Custom Shooting Team, you can just go to Zero Sports, pick you up a jersey.
I bless off on it.
Fucking just do stupid shit at your locals, and I support it. I don't have any other stringent requirements, but tag me in some posts, I guess. But that's how I kind of got into the 2011 world. I wanted to, shoot 2011s and didn't have the money to go spend $6,000 on somebody else's gun. And I think once you get to the bare bones of a 2011, as far as like getting a tight fit on the slide to frame, those kind of tolerances, hard fitting barrels, and doing that kind of components, the rest is just fucking makeup. Slide cuts. This gun is literally nothing. This was all done with a hand file. I will never do it again because it's a pain in the fucking dick. But everything here was done with a hand file, including the tri-topping, and it's going to get a nice laser engrave. And if you got access to a lathe or to a mill or CNC,
do that. Because
Yeah, after building my first 2011 with like just a hand file and such, like tri-topping a slide with hand file is a psychopath move. I cannot imagine doing that.
Put an end mill in a drill press and just tilt the barrel, the slide, and
just gently rotate it with your hands. Just like no caffeine that day, real steady moves.
There's going to be some stuff incoming.
Yeah, I can see it.
You're going to see me pressed up with the drill press. I'm like, kid holding on there. I'm like, okay, hold it there. Just chatter marks all across the fucking
Or
room.
like my video of my picture of notching the ejector for my 2011 with the drill bit in the like Makita hand drill that I tagged Jeremy in.
Hey,
It turns out you can get really good gunsmithing advice if you just are fine looking like an idiot and post like obviously wrong bad things on the internet and wait for someone who knows better to correct you.
So I've done that.
Follow me for more pro tips.
I've done that multiple times. left-hand drill bits through the long side so it doesn't snap.
No, I didn't even have the left hand. Yeah, it was like the standard one. Like I just held the ejector in really hard so it didn't walk. Like none of the right tools. I just sent it.
Why do you think I joined the Discord?
What?
I joined so I have access to Jeremy.
Yeah.
Stupid shit I posted to him, and he's been like, "You're an idiot. Here's a picture of what I've done."
Yes.
I'm not sure you are aware of how risky that was.
Well, I mean, but then you get the upcharge on the 17 hours of labor it takes for, the ejector fit.
I want to know if Jeremy bevels,
Do it right. I don't have 3 hours.
If Jeremy bevels the inside edge on his ejector when it's in there, gotta cut it, but then you gotta sit there and bevel the inside edges. It's the little pieces, but that is what separates him from us.
And experience.
Yeah, he's getting the bag. I'm just shooting.
But how many people have you seen, at matches that have something go wrong with their gun that have absolutely no fucking clue
how to fix it or what could be causing those problems, other than I'm going to send it back to Atlas or I'm going to send it to somebody to do or figure out?
Oh yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, we got a guy.
Imagine doing that.
We got a guy local that's built like 8 2011s for himself. So like most people that shoot limited or open go to him. Otherwise, like if you have a CZ or a Glock, like you hope you have somebody nearby that knows what they're doing.
So I had a buddy of mine before, I think it was Area 1 a couple years ago, and his CZ Checkmate, we were swapping out parts and shit in it, and I learned, I watched like an hour of YouTube videos as I'm like poring over this thing on a dimly lit fucking kitchen table, trying to figure out how the gun goes back together. So fuck CZs. That is a nightmare. Like 1911s, 2011s, like it just works. But CZs, all them fucking springs and stuff. No, thank you.
Yeah, first time I bought my Shadow 2, I just like completely detail stripped it because I want to touch every part and know how it works. And I rewatched like that like CZ Customs and then like some other random person on YouTube doing the reassembly, like here's how everything works, and I rewatched those videos for like probably 2 hours doing it the first time. That trigger spring like install is a fucking nightmare if you don't have exactly the right tool. Like some of these things, like you just have to fork over like the $30-40 for like the one tool that installs the one spring because it saves you 3 hours.
Yeah. I feel like
that's the.
Oh, go ahead, Fitz.
Oh, the striker assembly in the P320 has the tiniest fucking spring, and you're like, I watch the videos and like, you need a magnetic tip, and it's got to be hooked, and it's got to go in just right. And you're like, I'm never changing this fucking spring. I'll just buy a new assembly. Like fuck.
See, Katon will understand this one for the M&Ps, that little spring and plunger under the sights.
Oh yeah, fuck that thing.
That thing is such a pain in the ass.
I hate that thing. It's a pain in the ass when you're putting like if you get your M&P like cut like milled for an optic. A lot of them, if you do the race cut, will still just like leave it whatever, and so you get like the spring and the drop safety plunger, and then on the top you have like the spring, and then sometimes if you have kept good track of it, they've got like a plastic like flat piece that sits on top of the spring that like compresses a lot more flat in the channel than to like just the spring. Yeah, like a super easy part to lose, let me tell you. And like you still have to like slap the optic on like perfectly flat and then put it on and like make sure that it hasn't like shifted or whatever. Like if you want to like slap a new sight, a new like iron sight in your dovetail, and like compress that thing just perfectly, like fucking give up. Like like overnight the little like plunger thing from Apex and install it with that, because like just fucking give up if you don't have one. It's a nightmare. I hate that thing.
It's just, you know,
Like I seriously considered just like replacing my slide with the Performance Center slide with the optic cut on it, because they have like a retaining plunger plate with a tiny set screw that just holds that thing in, and I don't have to ever like touch it. Like it was almost just worth buying a brand new slide.
you mean the way it should have came from the factory?
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Or
Fuck that thing.
or you just remove it. Now, it's this one simple trick that gun makers hate.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't-
the RO at Gear Check doesn't know I have a safety plunger, so like, who's gonna? We're good.
Don't drop your gun. That's like I took the hammer safety off out of this thing because it's a pain in the ass to put it back together with it, and I was like, it doesn't have a fucking exposed hammer. Like, what am I gonna drop it on?
Well, your problem is that like the fuddy duddy that they stick at Chrono might actually know that revolvers have hammer safeties.
He'd have to take off the grip, the side panel.
Okay, you got me. I give up.
Oh man. What? So what is your guys' winter training looking like? We also need to talk more shit. Single stack is a dying division. The single stack shootout's not going to happen
Yeah,
anymore.
fuck you, Jeff.
It's going to be the Yeet Cannon Invitational.
Oh, I mean, like the Yeet Cannon is still single stack. You can still do it.
But the Yeet Cannon Invitational sounds so much more bougie than the single stack shootout.
It sounds like a lot more fun.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Like, do you want to rub elbows with like people whose average age is over 50, or do you want to like have fun?
Oh, exactly. Marcel said, so the Inland Empire Yeet Cannon. Yes, yes.
Exactly.
If you can get an RDS
Let's see,
version.
for winter training. Oh, fuck. Have you seen, what is it? The old YouTube channel, like Dynamic Pi Concepts, old like spoof gun content channel. They did one with the Yeet Cannon and had like Ben Stoker. They like JB welded a Picatinny section on the slide and put an EOTech on it. And they had Ben Stoker shooting it for a little clip. I would absolutely show up with that.
That's why I have a second slide.
Hey, Jeff just said he'd shoot the Yeet Cannon Invitational, so.
All right, we got him. We got him in the bag. All right, January 1st, make sure you register for Inland Empire. It is unironically a very good match, and I will be there.
It is. Ran by some fantastic people, too.
Yeah, but who's going to drive Jeff up there?
I might actually be in Kansas for that one.
You get the Patreon to pay for Jeff's Uber to Eastern Washington.
Oh man, I'll Uber there. What do you think the cost? That would be at least a $2,000 Uber ride.
Hey, it's coming out of the Patreon coffers. I don't have to think about
More
that.
than that, they'll get that with residuals from the video that they could produce.
Yeah, maybe that's why Jeff and Jeremy haven't given me my free hat. They're pinching all their pennies for his one Uber a year.
They're going to give your hat to Tyler Turner for his meme contest.
True.
Yes.
That's fucked up.
And I'm not wearing my hat tonight. I should have put my Hit Factor hat on. And I had the same one. I'm missing out on this.
You can't wear the band tee to the band that's playing. That's not it.
I am rocking Glacier Practical Shooters. So if you've never been out there, fantastic range from fantastic people. Give them a little free shout out. So. All right, back on winter training.
What are you doing?
Bunch of stupid shit.
It's the season for
To
it.
be fair, I mean, I've done a little bit of training with the dot. I haven't put on my rig. I went and shot about 300 rounds today.
Just ripping rounds through a new barrel. But really, I've been focusing on the wheel gun. Trying to hit those sub 3 second reloads and some shooting on the move and irons. But I'm trying.
I did put some thought into running Area 1 with a revolver this year.
It's
you might be the only person who will.
that's the hard part. I can get a trophy.
No, you won't.
No, I won't.
Because
He's fine.
there's no one else in the division.
I will make
You
my
don't
own.
get anything.
I will make my own trophy and have Chris Collins give it to me at the award ceremony because I think he's MD in it. So,
Hell yeah.
but no,
I've just been kind of training with the irons, doing some cross training.
I could shoot the Revo in production, be cut down a little bit, but
Is that actually production legal? Are you allowed to do that?
I don't know.
It won't be on the list. It won't be on the list.
Oh, it is production Revo.
I feel
legal.
like you can't, but
No, I don't think it is.
really, they are legal.
I mean, it's got iron sights.
Bill says it's. Yeah, Bill's the lawyer. It's good to go, I guess.
So my only concern would be if it would fit in the box or if it's too long.
Just chop
Yeah,
it.
I'll chop it
Use
right
the
there.
hacksaw.
Yeah. Do a little blend and I'll put it in the lathe. I don't even need the sights anyways. Like, sights are for bitches.
True.
Have you
True. Yeah, if you spend time aiming, you're behind the 8-ball.
have either of you guys ever shot a match with no sights?
I
haven't shot a match with no sights, and I haven't shot. Well, I shot a match. I shot half of. No, my mom shot a match with a non-functional red dot. It just was off. So she wasn't last either.
I will tell you that, like, as
So,
far as index
I'll
training and
claim
like
that.
trusting where you can point the gun and get away with it,
It's cool. It's fun.
I lost the red dot battery cover on my Vortex like 2 shots in and just indexed the entire rest of the state.
what red dots are you guys running on your pistols when you do run them?
I've just got the 507 comp on everything now.
I like it.
My SROs have migrated to the Glock that I give to people who want to learn how to shoot but don't have a gun or forgot their gun or a million other excuses. A lot more common than you'd think. And then I've got the an SRO on the M1 Garand. But yeah, all my match guns have 507 comps now.
Yes. Is that a CMP?
My El Prez with the M1 Garand. Yep, it is. Yeah, my dad got a CMP Garand back in the day, and it was collecting dust. And I was like, Dad, let me clean that grease off of it and play with this for a little bit. But my El Prez time on that thing is great. It's a riot.
My buddy just ran one in a rifle side match we did, and he was just blowing targets off the stands. It was fucking phenomenal.
He'll be at the Discord soon, and also maybe a candidate for Area 1 director.
Ooh, I'll vote for him.
But more to come.
Not Bruce. So that's all I need.
No.
Fuck you, Bruce.
He's good people.
Fitz, what you got?
Yeah, what are you running?
Show me your gear. Why are you good? What do I need to buy to be good?
What? Someone's coming out.
Yeah, you were kind of cutting out. I think you asked what you need to do to be good. I think the correct answer is shoot only 25 mics at nationals.
Eat shit, Jeff. No, whatever comes on the max version of 320, Romeo 3 Max.
Oh yeah, the Romeo 3 Max.
Yeah, I gotta send one back. I think it's drifting, and I'm pretty sure I gotta like break the glass to send it back.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I like. I initially considered whether or not to get the 3 Max or the SRO, and the SRO, from everyone that I had talked to, like when it failed, it just turned off, and like it just wouldn't work anymore. But the Romeo 3 Max, the zero would drift like pretty frequently, and that was just like a no go for me. I want, if like my shit's broken, I want to know immediately and not have to like guess if I'm shooting bad or if it's like actually my equipment for like a whole match.
Well, I'm friends with Strader on Facebook, so I'm gonna blow him up and tell him he's gotta replace my shit.
So I don't know if you guys have like looked into this or like given it a whole lot of consideration, but do you have any like deep thoughts on comparing like a limited optics, like, okay, well, comparing a 2011 built for limited optics to any of the other major carry optics guns? Like, if I was to shoot limited optics, why should I pick a 2011 over anything else on the market?
So I think where the 2011 shines, at least in that, I think it really comes down to personal preference. Like if you're coming from limited or something else and are already shooting a 2011 or coming from single stack and shooting a 1911 and you really like that platform and ergonomics, then I think it's probably your best choice. Besides maybe like a Shadow 2, because ergonomically they're pretty close. At least with like a Chile grip, E2 style, like it's about the closest I could find.
Yeah.
My hands don't really like, and I hate the slides on Shadows. That's
fair.
Now I will say I shot my buddy's my DWX that he had optic cut, and that is I could see that as a super viable option for guys wanting to do the LO side as well. And I've seen guys shooting mechanics, the steel frames. Like, I don't think at that point, like, it really matters. I think people have a perception on what they think they need to be competitive or to do X, Y, Z. And as long as you are confident with the gun and the gun shoots, minute of target, and you want to practice with it and hold it and do that kind of shit, like it's gonna be a moot point.
It's 9 minor.
Yeah.
If you're an able-bodied adult that can't handle 9 minor, go shoot Steel Challenge, rimfire optics. Right, like a Glock, M&P, a normal Canic, like who gives a shit?
Yeah.
125 power factor is not gonna.
And I think that people like, and I had a fairly newer shooter like come and ask me because he had like a Glock 19 setup, that was RDS and like that kind of stuff. He's like, "Oh, I'm thinking about going and buying this." This is like his first match, and he had like extended mags. I was like, dude, like stop. Like, I wasted so much fucking money on gear and belts and different equipment and like figuring out stuff that I didn't need to do if I would have just kind of figured out what I liked along the road. So now I just buy everything anyways. My guys are like, "Hey, did you try that out yet?" Okay, yeah. You like it? So, having that test bed where people can like figure out, which is why I like the hit factor, the Discord too, because, enough people drop shit in there that it's like, hey, what is your experience with this? And I think it's the same on guns though. Like, I think people are expecting that it's going to make them, increase performance by 25%, where they might increase their performance because in their head, they're thinking that they can do more better, and it'll get them out of their comfort zone to try to push things. I think people try to hamstring themselves with equipment arguments and then use that as a crutch as to why they haven't tried anything else.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I recently, so for Christmas, I built my mom a 2011, and to replace her SIG P320 Max, because I don't want her to be shooting a grenade.
Yep.
So I was like, hey, I'll fuck it, like 2 birds, 1 stone. I'll learn how to build a 2011, and we'll solve this this time bomb that my mom has. So just handed that to her yesterday, and great fun. Gonna be a wild ride this year, watching her learn how to shoot that. And I would bet that if you gave like a competent shooter like those same guns, like the 2011 and then like the 320 Max, that like you really wouldn't see a big difference in what you can do. Outside of like the user's preference, I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that matters is if you're shooting major or minor. Right? Like, I shot a Glock 35 for a long time, and I am not Shane Coley. I'm not John Hedlund. Right? Like, I have relatively normal forearms and grip strength. Like 40 out of a Glock sucks. So moving to the 2011 was really nice because I was able to control the recoil a lot better. But like 9 minor doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, and even at that, like I figured out after Chrono at Rocky Mountain sectional or gym state, whatever it was, that I was shooting like 152 power factor.
Oh yeah.
Because it was all like NATO plus P rounds. And, but did that impact my match at all? No. I'm going to say it did. It was the brutal recoil of that 152 power factor.
The punishing recoil of NATO training ammo.
Yeah. So people's grips generally suck anyways. So go get you a Captain's a Crush, some grip trainers.
I mean, I shot
more
Spear Gold Dot out of a Glock. It was like 185 power factor.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, shit sucked.
That's too much. That hurts.
So my buddy was shooting a pro match from name's Pro Match. He works for the company, but kind of get some sponsored ammo from them, and it came in at like 196 power factor, and it went for 40.
Jesus Christ!
It's like they were for sure making major. Like there was no fucking worries there. But there's a
make major out of like a pocket gun.
Yeah, there's a point where it doesn't matter, and then there's excess where I just don't understand the big name shooters that are like barely scraping the power factor floor at like major matches.
It's because their guns blow up if the chamber pressure is too high.
Yes, Max.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
The SIG engineers said, like, hey, we cooked up something special for you. And if it doesn't work, we're sponsoring the match. It's all good.
Say his name.
Say his name.
Feed her. One of my all-time favorite comedies, by the way, if you've never watched The Human Centipede.
Yeah, that's a very funny movie. Definitely one for the family.
Yeah. So I'm going to take a page out of your book, Katon, and I got a spare frame that I rebuilt a gun for a guy, and it was all fuckered up. So I got a Advantage Arms 22 upper for 2011, and an extra plastic grip frame or grip module. I'm going to do an open 22 for my 9-year-old for a steel challenge. You know, get her introduced to the 2011 world. Because what 8 or 9-year-old doesn't need a 2011?
Honestly, yeah. Give her the 1-pound trigger.
Oh yeah. No.
No pre-travel.
She's not strong.
Like, let it be riding the sear.
She's not strong enough for a 4-pound trigger. Like.
Yeah. Make sure that the trigger bow is just like resting on the sear. Like, take the disconnector out.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it.
Honestly, that would be a fun little thing. Just put the hammer on there, rack it back, and just
just give it like a tab to pull, and you just like pull the hammer like a slingshot.
Yeah. No, you got to ride it forward into battery real slow, and then you just pull the start. You know, maybe put a little string on there so they can pull the string to start, and then. You know. Oh man. What prompts we got
advice.
from
you
our?
Should do this. Build your gun.
From our. Yes. Do we got any requests from the chat?
I believe we have to acknowledge Shooter's Connection.
Yes. So Shooter's Connection provides the all the things that you need to shoot and compete at a competitive level. They offer great shipping, great prices, and fantastic people. They also stand up for shooters across the globe. So head on over to Shooter's Connection and get your parts today. I have used them many times to send parts that I fucked up, and they always come in with things being in stock. Unless you need... And they also told the Kai to get fucked. So,
I wish Shooters Connection's website would like display their in stock items correctly, because they always keep saying shit's in stock, and then you click through to the product and it's not. I was looking to buy like Limcat frames, and they're just like, oh wow, they're the only people with
yeah,
they got me again.
I feel like that's a comedy piece to crush people's hopes and dreams. Same with Chile grips and stuff. You know?
Yeah, they must know and not. They want it on purpose.
We'll say that they will ship tubes to band states, so it's really nice.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's important that you know your local laws,
because
and they'll let you know your local laws for you.
So you said that you can't get frames in where you're at. Do they classify that different there? Because all of the people I may or may not have built guns for in Washington can order their frames in, and they get sold a frame.
Well, I like the 80% frame myself.
Yeah,
so I need to go a couple miles south and get one there.
Who are you using for 80%?
Don't give up their name. Don't be a snitch.
Yeah,
limited 10.
Okay.
They're not around anymore, so who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Probably Fusion Firearms in the future, if I can get one.
I know what was it, like the Rogue?
Is their stuff good? I watched a lot of their YouTube videos when I was like learning how to build 2011s. Their stuff like looks nice, but it's like the website's too good, and so I don't trust that their like equipment is good. Like that, it's like there's this like sweet spot of like the website has to be shitty for me to believe that you have like a good gun product.
Have you been to Weed Custom Pistol Smithing?
I don't believe so. Does he even have a website?
He does. You should. Yeah.
Oh. All right. Oh my god. Yeah, these are good.
Hey, I'll be right back.
Holy shit. Yo, this is like the same tier as Chambers Custom.
I mean, it's like a step above GeoCities, but like very small.
Yeah, these are fantastic. Hey, at least you've like updated the part that displays on the tab that says that has like your little tiny website logo with like the name. Like Jeremy's says home, whereas like the Chambers Custom still has like the WordPress logo. Hell yeah.
I'm really sad that Jeremy isn't in the chat with us tonight.
I feel like I caused Jeremy like psychic damage as he watched me build my guns.
Marcel is asking me if Jeff has a website. I don't believe he does.
Oh man. Sorry, about pissed my pants.
Damn, for free?
Yeah. I mean, usually that's on the OnlyFans, but.
It's how you build your guns.
God damn
It's
it.
not my podcast. I won't continue this joke.
So what are you guys thinking on the offshoots of like 2011 designs with like the Oracle, the 2311, that
Hippopotamus or platypus. That's what it is.
Platypus.
Yeah, the platypus, like double stack 1911, because it's a sliding frame, not the 2011 design or whatever. The platypus is pretty cool. A buddy of mine has one. It's like, aside from being like an aluminum frame, I don't really have a whole lot of complaints. It's a remarkably like well fit gun for what you pay. You just have to suffer through the waiting period while they build it, and they don't seem to have compromised a whole lot of their like quality. They just keep pushing out the waiting period. So it's like, as far as like a new product goes, it's like that's definitely the direction I would prefer that a company would take it.
well, we won't get into a tirade on waiting periods for anything.
Hey, look, all I'm saying, it's a great holster. I mean, a great pistol.
Yeah. Jeremy's in the chat. I don't understand like aluminum frame stuff that's been pushed lately. Like, so between the platypus, like that, who just came out, Witness, like Gerson.
Gearson.
Like, I feel like they kind of missed the mark doing an aluminum frame rather than a steel frame for the full size, in my opinion. But even like, venturing out of the 2011s into like Smith & Wesson, like when they were going to release their all metal before.
Oh, the M&P competitor is like an aluminum frame. I think they still have the steel like recoil lugs that they use in the polymer one. I think I honestly haven't checked, but like my assumption is that they're still using those same locking blocks and such.
Well,
But like the actual grip is aluminum, and I like don't give a shit.
Yeah, well, it's like because they came out before the Mechanic, right? And then they were following up basically like the Walter with the QSF. But like, just think if they would have came out and it would have been a steel frame gun versus an aluminum frame gun, they could have hit such a bigger like market share than they did with the aluminum, in my opinion. Because they were filling something that everyone wanted with a P3.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shooting a Shadow 2 right now.
Yeah, I mean, with the 320s, like everyone's just been like, if somebody dropped other than the exploding barrels and shit, so that's kind of past there now. But like, if they would have dropped the steel grip module, like that's what people wanted instead of the AXG shit. Because fuck that. But if Smith & Wesson would have just suckered up and done a steel frame gun, I think it could have taken off significantly more, especially in like the carry optic space and, you know, even limited optics if it, you know, whatever that thing is. Who knows? We might not have USPSA next year.
Do you guys know if we have USPSA tomorrow? Do I have to bring my backpack?
In the politics.
Yeah.
In the politics.
Yep. We're staying out of politics. We're gonna let the regular crew cover that in extent. But all hail the new republic, the free states of USPSA.
The 2311. So like Apollo Arms is not the people who make the 2311 that takes Sig mags.
Yeah.
But it's like some other, no, it's like Live Free Armory makes like the Apollo 23. It's fucked. I hate the market right now. All the names are the same. It sucks. But like the air quotes 2011 that takes Sig mags uses there are like enough parts that are common with the 1911 2011 that, like, you know, it's air quotes compatible, and they like posted like an exploded parts diagram, and like the leaf spring is like chopped in half and definitely proprietary, and it doesn't look like it's easy to tune. Like the sear and hammer and not the disconnector, I think, are compatible. And so it's just like, I'm just not interested. I just don't care.
Well, and
I've got no interest in that thing anymore.
I mean, when you think of like, when you're like, man, I really want a gun that takes X magazine, is your first thought a Sig P320?
Oh, you know, the paragon of reliability. The thing that I already, unfortunately, the gun that I have a bunch of mags for.
Right. Well, it's like my buddy used to shoot with limited 40 caliber, like with his 320, and you know, he'd be like shooting pledge, like cleaner on his rounds and like buffing them out so that they would feed reliably. That's a pre-match routine.
Oh, it's fucked up.
Yeah. Is that Bill? What am I going to do with all these P320 mags now that my gun blew up?
Yeah, too real.
You sell them to an idiot that's out there.
You know, I haven't shot my 320 since all that shit started happening.
Well, if you've got some tight group in your garage, you can go load up some fun ammo.
Hey, so to offshoot on that, I did help a guy do a P320 open gun.
Jesus Christ!
But to be fair, it was a gunsmith fit like Barstow barrel.
I blew one of those up. They say their chamber's fully supported. It doesn't stop it. It doesn't help. It was a match fit gunsmith like barrel from Barstow. I emailed them specifically. I was like, are these more supported than factory barrels from SIG? They're like, yes, our chambers are fully supported. I'm like, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. I can't wait. And like I blew it up while chronoing ammo. I had like 128 power factor ammo, loaded with tight group, mind you, but like it was fine.
Yeah.
And it fucking like popped. It like the gun is just, it has ghosts in its blood. Like you can't save the P320. Like just stop shooting them.
But we ran 170 power factor ammo through it with HS6.
Yeah. Like sometimes it just blows up and there's no rhyme or reason to it. The like sport disconnector that like the SIG guy sells and like all the stuff that like Bruce Gray like talked about, I just don't trust any of them, and just get rid of the gun. Like it's like, put that thing away. Like don't show me the P320. I don't want to see it.
It might blow up in his hand. Just static.
Yeah, who knows what'll happen? Like, who's more brave, the guy with an EDC revolver or with an EDC P320?
One's liable to get you killed. The other one's liable to kill you. Shit. EDC. Katon been doing some squats in the background, huh?
No, the rack you see behind me is just for show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an extra clothes rack.
It's where I hang my jackets. I'm like drywall in the bedroom, so like I've got a bunch of shit in the gym right now.
That was one of my biggest
The Raptors
regrets
don't
was
do it.
Selling all my gym shit before I left Texas.
Huge mistake.
Yeah. Could have had a baller home
You'll
gym
never
right
get it
now.
back.
Nope.
I sold like 2,000 pounds of plates. Like I could max on everything and be good.
Well, if you send money to Jeff, just like totally off the record, he will give you like so much personal coaching on very creative exercise routines that will definitely like get you results of a kind.
Yeah, some sort of results.
Are you talking like 100 reps of deadlift at 225?
Yeah. Or
Okay.
run until run really far and then do like another 100 reps of deadlifting.
Okay.
What did you guys think of the race?
You don't need a home gym. That shit was sick.
So the video
I
itself,
think I need to be in the video next
the
time.
video itself was phenomenal.
I felt physical pain watching both of them run. Like these are grown men. Jeff's a national champion. Jeremy went to World Shoot and got a gold medal. They run like girls.
Just peak athleticism.
Yeah, these are the top performers in our sport. This must be what like Ben and Wansik feel like watching all of their like C-class shooters on PSTG doing like VOD review every month, or like the dudes who pay for gold. I don't know who do that. Definitely not me. Submitting the same videos every week, and like you just don't see improvement, and it's just like.
Yeah.
I wonder how negative we can be before Jeff gets in and stops recording.
Well, I think it's worse because, like, shooting's a skill that not everyone does, but like running, do you not run as a kid? Like you're gym class and you're running, right?
Yeah.
But like,
You guys remember the fat kids in class? You know, that would do like the power trudge.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I was
all
with them
fat
too.
kids,
I was like in that group when I was in gym class. I had asthma. Well, I still do, but so I was like never good at like running the mile. So I would always come in at like, 12, 14 minutes, something like that. Like never been a runner. I'm an ambush predator. Like 100-meter dash, like you're fucking done. I'll beat everyone. Anything 101 meters, I'm falling over. Just like that's my wall right there.
Yeah. But like as like Fat Ab said, single stack shooters aren't famous for their athleticism. I mean, they get all those breaks to reload in between all the big movie places, so. I think it'd be funny to see
What's the most athletic division?
Oh, I think the division with the smallest people is probably open.
I don't know why that's so funny.
I mean,
it's such a way to phrase it.
well, I mean, if you look at like your propensity of shooters, like good limited shooters are usually bigger guys. Apart from Gianni, you know, who can keep the gun super flat and just rips it as is, you know.
Yeah, but you have a lot of old fat guys doing open.
Yeah, well, that too. It's one end or the other.
Like this.
You know, really fast.
Yeah, open. Outside of like the top whatever, like the top like arbitrary number of like high performance shooters, open feels like a retirement home for formerly good shooters. Just give them a dot and a gun that doesn't recoil and just like, you know, keep having fun. I mean, I guess now some of them are shooting PCC, so it's diluted a little.
Yeah, that's what I've seen a whole lot more locally. Is just like old guys now have the PCC that they don't have to reload with 60 rounds, you know, because it's cutting out the soft skills of like manipulations or, you know, recoil management and that kind of stuff. They're not worried about going fast because they're going to get whipped up on by a production guy.
Or some weirdo with a revolver.
Exactly. Beating PCCs with a Revo.
You come to a state with 331, and like PCC guys actually have a little bit of struggle.
Yeah, unloaded starts, mandatory reloads. Like, you know, if
every 10 rounds.
Yeah. If a PCC is going to choke, that's when it is. And I've never done any PCC shooting like in a competition setting. I don't know.
Well, I'm not gay, so I haven't done it either.
Not that there's anything wrong with that for the audience. And I think like there's more hindrance to a PCC in a lot of stages than there is like benefit. You know, other than like longer distance standard stages, like with strong and weak hand shooting, you know, and head boxes, like, you know, moving around the rifle and shit through a lot of those stages is kind of a pain in the ass.
Especially if the stages are built to fuck with PCC shooters. I think those are funny.
Yeah. I mean, I usually try to write stuff in my stage descriptions, you know, like PCCs or shooters riding their PCC like a broom, you know, twisting left nipple, you know, just things to make them remind them who they are. But yeah.
Yeah. If your division gets like specific like start instructions, like you know where you stand.
Yeah, you don't belong, right? Oh man. Let's see what else we missed in here. I think we covered all that. I guess Jeremy had dropped one in the Patreon shoutouts thing. So after building, for anybody like getting into the Prodigy game or one of these, you know, kind of entry level 2011s that's going to be doing your own kind of work in gunsmithing, what is your guys' biggest takeaway from doing your own builds and kind of learning that platform?
If you want to touch every part and like actually learn how the gun works and such, building your own is a lot of fun. Starting with a Prodigy and you just ship a Theseus that thing with upgraded parts until you just buy a new frame and you have a brand new 2011 is probably the easiest and smartest way to go about it. If you have access to a competent gunsmith like Jeremy by joining the Patreon and entering the Hit Factor Discord, you can ping Jeremy with your bad building tips, and he might get upset enough to correct you, and you can fast track your stuff. But but yeah, like the Springfield Prodigy of like all the cheap entry level 2011s is probably the way I would go. Having played with a Springfield Prodigy, a Platypus, the open gun I bought from C-Class Legend, and then building two 2011s on Chile frames. Well, one's a Brazos and one's Chile. But getting those or buying like a short block kit and then adding all of your other stuff, like the grip, fire control, all that stuff is probably the easiest way to go about it.
Hell yeah.
So I'd say Kuhnhausen and Kulak.
I read that book, the M1911 Complete Assembly Guide by two old guys. Names I don't remember.
The Kuhnhausen was more for 45s, but like the generalness of it will work out for your gun. But really, I mean, there's so much information out there on the internet. Like Mosin Virus on YouTube.
Oh yeah, that guy's fantastic. Mosin Virus.
Now. And honestly, like, join the Discord. You get in the equipment channel, ask questions.
Yeah.
Like, I think the hardest part that I had was there are a couple things that, like, people want to hold back. Like, I was at Nationals with Jeremy, and he's like, oh, there's a thing called barrel springing. I'm like, the fuck is that? You know, like, there's a handful of things that people don't want to tell you online. They want to kind of keep it to themselves. But you get a community like Discord, you get your answers.
Make sure you don't like define barrel spring on the podcast too. Type it up, type that comment up, and put it in the Discord because I want to know what that is. And if you want to know too, you have to join the Discord.
I can tell you what that is.
Pay up your $2 for Discord access.
Little hint.
So you're barrel springing. So that comes into different fitting in.
No, stop!
Subscribe. Stop it. No, I think those are all great points. I think another kind of comment too, you know, if you start slow with anything, is don't be afraid to fuck something up. Like, take things slow, you know, read all the material, but if you're not willing to potentially mess up a part, you know, that's why starting with a gun that's already got, you know, the majority of components fit, whether that's a Prodigy, or, you know, if you pick something up off of a used piece, or even like a pre-fit slide barrel and frame, you know, kit from Brazos or something. Like, don't be afraid to fuck up the little things, because it's going to take time. You know, take it slow and understand how things interact and how they work and ask questions. But if you're not willing to stick a file on a bare slide and figure out how to fucking dry top, like, then don't do that. But the first swipe is always the hardest.
So I think
I think the first, like, the best advice I got was, like, you alter the cheapest part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it's free in the grip, like, maybe go for the frame. If it's trigger, go to trigger.
Yes.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like it's like the parts just cost money. Like if you fuck it up really bad, you can just buy a new part. All of these things can be fit with hand files in your garage. Like it's if you're patient enough and willing to learn, like it's all of these. You can fuck up like any part in the gun and like fix it in theory. And if that is over your head, you can send the pile of parts to a gunsmith who will do it for you.
Not Jeremy.
I have many piles of parts.
Send them to me. I'll definitely fix them and definitely give them back to you.
Yeah. So we had a question from Fat Av. So, do you guys have any specific goals for this next year?
I want to place above 50 in Carry Optics Nationals, and I want to hurt feelings.
Oh yeah, now you can't get beat by any A-class scrubs.
I mean, I'll try my damnedest.
Get that fucking sandbagging GM title, right?
Yeah, this year I plan to really shit the bed.
Yeah, just gonna fuck it all up. Fitz, what about you?
If I shoot any big matches, like to shoot my class, but I mean with how the org is going, probably not. Eat shit, Jeff.
Yeah, eat shit, Jeff. I'm specifically calling out Potato for Hire. I'm gonna bury you at Carry Optics Nationals this year, 2024. And anything else on that is icing on the cake.
Loser has to wipe a hot chili on their butthole. What I heard.
Oh, is that a punishment? Damn,
I think my biggest goal this year, I'm going to be living in a trailer, out in Kansas. So I have a load of free time on my hands. So a lot of dry fire and trying to make a run at GM and Open this year. So.
Well, if you want to make GM, like remember that the full retention, like absolute self-discipline, don't ruin your endorphin pathway neuro channel with a bad habit. You know what I mean.
I'll just be doing a whole
all
lot
that free time you got in the.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm just gonna do a whole lot of cold water plunges and jam on my inner JBL.
Yeah. Every time you have an indecent thought, you get a cold water plunge, a bowl of like unfrosted Kellogg's, and 20 minutes of dry fire.
Yeah, every time.
Well, you can also spoon fat abs, big or little,
True.
up to your choice.
Yeah.
That would make it worse for me. Like, have you seen that dude? He's cute.
When you don't get to have any time with your family, you might as well devote every waking moment to getting better at a shooting sport.
I mean, yeah. Honestly, family's a distraction. That's why why I don't have them.
Yeah, get rid of them. All right. How are you supposed to reach your goals? So I'm gonna have to figure out
how many national champions have kids. Honestly,
I don't know that answer.
Oh, wait a minute.
Where's Potato when we need him?
It's more than one.
Potato has that stat. He knows that answer.
That stat, like it's a couple columns over from like their placements over the last 20 years.
Yeah, at this age, he was 3 years old.
His son was born a month prior. Wow, what dedication! Mental game.
How did that
Maybe
impact?
all that time away in paternal leave was good for his shooting.
He's he is what this sport deserves. Like he should be the USPSA historian. But
Yeah, for sure. I've been like, I met him in a Discord when I first started shooting USPSA, and I've been like DMing him like shooting questions for like the last 4 years easily. Like, dude, if you want access to him too, you should also join the Hit Factor Discord and shoot him a DM on Discord, because he's nowhere else. Like, you'll just have to run into him at a match in Maine, in like the 100 people that live there.
picking blueberries.
He was on Reddit a couple years
Yeah.
ago. It was awkward because I didn't know who he was, and like I saw him at a match, and I was like, kind of an asshole. And then,
He's not an asshole. He's autistic.
no, exactly. Like 4 years later, like, oh, I should have been friends with them.
Same. But
Yeah, potato, tomato. Yeah, whatever.
now we do need to do a Hit Factor summit at some point. I know that was thrown around probably 6 months ago.
Yeah, Jeremy's.
Yeah, at Jeremy's house.
Yeah.
Only amateur gun builders.
Do we get what's the attraction? Is it a gunsmithing weekend, shooting weekend? Do we have like a mani-pedi?
I think like a outdoor roasted pork. Just a full pig while we're.
Yeah.
It's Texas, little new pig there.
We could do that. Could be the Yeet Cannon Invitational.
Yeah. All right. Oh, we'll pick a date. We'll all show up. Jeremy doesn't get a say in this. We all just appear on a specified time.
Yes. Charter a
We
plucked
can't
private
edit
plane.
this part out.
Yeah. God, I can't. I'm glad we don't have to do the editing portion.
Well, if we all go to Ada, Oklahoma, and then Jeff can drive us down to Canyon, Texas.
Well, I mean,
It's foolproof.
I can tow my trailer there from Kansas, and we just live out on the range. I mean, that's probably only about an 8-hour drive, I'm guessing. I don't know. Geography's not my strong suit.
Jeff said there's an airport here, so it's basically an invite.
Mm-hmm. I mean, now that we have been on the podcast, granted, they wouldn't be seen with any of us individually, but
I was at Nationals with them, so yes.
You guys shooting?
All right, sleepover.
Shooting Nats this year?
Period. Sleepover.
I know you said you're shooting carry.
I'm only planning on Carry Optics Nationals. I don't think I have limited optics nationals in my blood. It's I don't want to look at too many iron sights.
I may shoot Revo Nats.
That would go hard.
Like, I'd automatically place top 10 in the nation because there'd only be.
I hope you're ready for more 40-yard hardcover swingers with your Revo. You better start training up.
God, that'd be miserable. And they said they're doing it again with limited optics.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the same schedule again, give or take.
That's retarded.
100%.
Yeah, I'm not too stoked about it. I'm honestly surprised CO and LO weren't combined into one major, and it was just like 4 or 5 days or something. But hey,
But then how could
question our benevolent overlords?
Jeff or Jake needs a job, so
It is a hard job copy pasting a calendar and changing the year.
But how would
Getting close to movies.
sponsored shooters get to shoot both nationals then with the same gun with a Magwell?
Fuck, I didn't think about that. You see, I'm like, my mom is my only sponsor, so like I don't think like they do.
We'll get you a jersey made. Can be on the back of some shooting team. Comes with a
Hell
fancy
yeah.
hat. Brooke is,
Does it come with the hairline?
yeah, that vibe check.
Hell yeah. I mean, like I'm lacking in the department. Like my forehead goes all the way back to my neck. There's no hairline to speak of.
Hey, washing your head though? I mean, it's too easy.
Oh, it's bar soap all the way down, baby.
Yeah. You just use fucking body wash, just drizzle it up top.
Done. I got that 13-in-1 special. Does everything. You can eat it too.
Personal lubricant,
True.
Which brings me to our next podcast sponsor, Blue Chew. Do you have a problem
Getting yourself up in the morning.
and get up a pack of Blue Chew? It'll get you hard.
Amen.
Not as hard as Uncle Benny's rice. Mix it with anything.
Including different meats for a fantastic and enjoyable meal every time.
All right, that's enough sponsor shout-outs today.
I'm so glad Jeremy was able to lock down that sponsor.
Yeah. I mean,
That must be how he's affording the Uber for the Eat Cannon Invitational.
see, I desperately want to put, a Viagra or Blue Chew sponsor on my jersey for next season.
Just don't ask.
No, yeah.
What are you going to do? Tell you not to?
I'll just put it on there. They'll be like, hey, how dare you advertise for free?
Stop it.
Yeah.
You're making us look good. Stop it.
I mean, to be fair, like, it's ancient, there's some ancient people out there shooting USPSA, including the BOD. So, like,
I don't get it. You'll have to be more specific.
well, I guess they're all falling off now.
Can you explain? I'm sure it'll be really funny. Can you explain the joke a little bit more? I promise I'll laugh.
Old people have troubles with getting erections.
What?
Do free handouts.
Jeff is going to have an absolute time producing this podcast.
Yeah, this has been a fun time. What are we at?
This has been a bang up podcast. Oh, that's wrong catchphrase.
Yeah. We talk about mental management. That's the wrong podcast.
Eat shit, Jeff.
Eat shit, Jeff.
We need like a Van Halen outro. Yeah, eat shit, Jeff.
Just,
Fuck you.
I think we should have just sat like, everyone's just sitting here like this the whole time. I don't know what podcast. Let me grab that one. Yeah.
For a podcast episode about gunsmithing, there's been a remarkable amount of restraint in gun fiddling and stimming with a hot mic.
Yeah.
Shout out Raw Time Champ podcast.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp.
Oops.
Oh. Man. All right. Well, do we have any other questions?
Well, if
from
we
the
don't wrap
audience?
it up soon, I'm going to actually piss.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been going on 2 hours, so I think that will make some people happy. It'll probably make some people turn it off after minute 7. But overall, I had a great time with the Hit Factor Takeover from the Discord OG, some of the OG crew. Hope you gents have a great night, and thank you everybody for tuning in to this week's episode of the Hit Factor podcast. And
this month.
And eat shit, Jeff.
Peace, Jeff.
And we will.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year. I love you.
If you enjoyed this podcast and would like to have us back on, please join the Patreon and join the Discord channel. Get some shout outs in, like and subscribe, share with all your friends. Show your grandmother. I'm sure she'd appreciate this. But let them know if we should be back on the show or have another segment. Just bullshitting. So y'all have a good night. I don't know how to turn this off.
Jeff!
Cut!
Jeff!
Cut!